I left the tavern at closing again immediately after feeling the cold breeze judge my face. I fell to my knees and quickly dug a small ditch in the sand to vomit in. And when I was done, I opened my eyes to see it filled, a little hole overflowing like lava down to my hands, and that some of it had stuck to my hair, sticking it together. It was only a flash of sobriety in which I thought I had done this before, but it made me happy that there was no catharsis, and it only intensified the nausea. Lost studying the vomit in the bowl, it didn't seem to sink in sand at all. It was viscous, so I left it for something to come and eat it. I crawled back into the city for water, and sometimes I'll forget I exist, where I stand and where I aim to go. And then I saw him again. I think he was in the bar with me. I stood and followed him from a distance, my very eyes aching to stay open as I staggered, as if the wind blew through the city walls to see me fall again. He stops, and he goes, and he stops, and he is holding the phantoms of lepers, letting them touch him with their hands, smudged beige on his white robe that always seemed to blow off with every breeze, and as if the cloth's pores were impenetrable to his arms. The sleeves had been torn so that his hands always sailed out of them. I could make out from this low tone, that he's saying, "Not yet," he says, "not yet." And all at once they all let go of him, and he mounts a horse, and they seem to have been watching for him. The stallion is aimed back towards the city gates, towards me, and as if I were undetectable, it nearly tramples me. I fall, and was ready to lay there for the night. But the horse halts, obeying without commands. Without looking back, he tells me to come with him, so I'd ride with him. I don't know how long I'm riding for, until he pushes me off in front of a water trough for camels, and rides by himself into the screaming mountains outside the city. I was found by a woman by the trough that morning. It was bright, and I could only open my eyes after her head covered the sun to look at me. She said she'd never seen me before. She knew that I'd never seen her before, but she knew me. And when she saw that I opened my eyes, she moved my vomit-crusted hair aside and kissed me, hydrating me with her saliva, mixing it with mine and swallowing some herself. She would lick every crack in my hardened lips with her eyes open, and so she tore off my miserable shawls, and I knew love for the first time. She lifted me and dunked me into the trough to wash me. The sand collected in my pores. "I love you," she says. She's a woman of wealth and fortune, and all she did in her house was paint canvases of thin proportions, all about 5 inches tall and 6 feet long, all of which had the same gaunt man laid dying from one bleeding wound in different poses and locations desolate. Should you have desecrated what it means, then all your steps and strokes would have uncontrollably shaken in almost sheer seizure, unable to find more the further it comes. Yet all you can do is stare steady into the furnace. Could this be because of me? Could this be because of my nature? I see that man in the taverns and walking the streets of the city late at night, only mounting the horse to retreat back to wherever he lived. And one night he sits next to me when I hid my eyes and my arm on the table. He pulls me upright by the hair to speak to me. "Do you know the lepers? Do you know who I am?" I thought, was I the only one left? He was drunk, but I hadn't had the strength to let my head fall again. At once I was captured by a voice so firm, and I had no thought. "You do know me, and you choose to forget me. You choose to ignore me. I don't know who you are. Then you should know that you are like me." "I know that. You don't know this. Do you love me by chance?" "No." "Then at least you are honest. This will come to hurt me very much later, but you'll come to know I'll never love you again. Most people like ants. They get close and use anything to measure my limbs underneath my robes. You'll never know peace without me." And he leaves. That night Christ had been picked up by Romans, drunk enough to have slept through the intense measuring of all of his body, and woke to find hundreds of vessels pinned to the cross with a crown. They were all copies of him. He stood up and walked past all of them to be outside. When he walked outside, he was immediately detained and punished and such. We watch from the balcony. She's fond of the crown. She wants to follow to see where they put him. We get there. It's a crown of thorns. The crown is beautiful. We stay and watch amongst the choir of moaning phantoms being bled on, reaching up on the cross but daring not to touch his feet. He is where he wants to be. We're so far away and time feels like nothing now. We come every day to paint him. She gets close as she paints the details. He wakes up and yells down, "Your paintings look like me." Or we're this close, time would stop its strobic beats. My subtle nystagmus guides teeth first, rings and gashes. We broke skin, we wouldn't bleed. Black bruises, opening scars, and we wouldn't bleed. And pain floods over me. There's wounds I can't remember. I deserve it. I feel happy. Then awake, I would pass through the healthy parts as I raveled bandages around your body. Every night I'll kiss the deepest ones to pass them to myself, and you would hide the rest. You hid them well, but now that you carved yourself away from me, I knew that I was like him. I returned to that miserable thing on the cross, and if you have suffered enough at dawn, at dusk, suffice to come from my lips. After you died, I never came back again. And after you had resurrected yourself, I just cried. I cried as if it would kill me. I cried as if it would kill him. Thank you.